Okay, this section will be on camper discipline. Please understand that Garrett County will take about 115 people to camp, and there's about 115 different situations that people come from, their home circumstances, and everything. So the expectation of discipline can be extremely varied amongst each of those people, and the idea of discipline definitely is one that is varying amongst all of those folks as well. So we try and have a standardized way that we discipline um, or that we handle discipline at camp. And so it's important that that we talk about that and that we don't implement any physical, emotional, cognitive disciplines. I don't even know what a cognitive discipline would be, but we make sure that we're not putting our hands on kids. We're not physically punishing them. We're not making them do a physical task in order to make up for a situation or an issue or a challenge that they presented to us. And we're also not emotionally abusing those young people either. So camper discipline is can be very tricky, and so that's why in any disciplinary situation, I should be the person that is right there with you going through that situation. So let's get into that. So, what you're going to learn is how to build up a camper's confidence, how to prevent challenging behavior, utilizing respectful interventions for negative behaviors, and how to mediate conflicts among campers. So, why is this important? Is obviously we live in a group, it's a group living experience. And so it can be sometimes challenging, but our relationship with our campers and effective communication and building those positive relationships with campers can be the key to limiting any situation where we may have to implement any kind of camp discipline. So behavior guidelines, typically most problems can be solved via communication, and that comes from understanding expectations, whether they be the camp expectations or our individual expectations. And so if you are the camp counselor and you say, hey, I want all of our beds to be made this way, to look this way, and let me explain why it is that I want it to. I want it to be uniform. I want it to look really good. Whatever the situation might be, but understanding and clearly communicating those expectations sometimes can limit any disciplinary issues that we might have or any misbehavior, simply because they know up front. Once again, they will not be subject to any physical harm, fear, or humiliation. Campers will not be roughly handled, pinched, spanked, punched, shaken, bitten, or subject to physical punishment. If separated from the group as a discipline measure, campers will be in a safe, lighted, well ventilated place within hearing distance of an adult. Verbal abuse or derogatory comments about the camper's family, race, color, ethnic origin, national origin, creed, religion, political belief, sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, genetic information, age, physical or mental disability is not permitted. Meals will never be denied. A child should always feel comfortable that they will be being fed at camp. And punishment will not be delegated to another camper. You will not say, hey, how do you feel like this should be handled? And talking to another camper and have them deciding what exactly is going to be the punishment or the discipline for another camper. Um, Parents, guardians of any camper who do not respond to discipline will be contacted to transport the camper home. Agents, volunteers must notify cabin leaders about anyone who is sent home. Building confidence. This is where our positive relationships really come into play. It's important that we establish those positive relationships, and so those positive expectations. So hey, we follow the rules. We get to do this thing. If we We get to, if you complete this task, whatever it might be, we get to do this thing. And so providing those positive reinforcements, those expectations, once again, building those positive relationships, all of those can limit any issues that we do have at camp. And encouragement is always important. To keep trying, to keep working, to be better. That's not only for campers, but also for counselors and even myself. I'm always working, always trying to be better than I was the day before, the moment before. So we should always encourage and be positive and encouraging to those kids that are coming to camp. Um, so these are some of the tips to encourage campers that once again, it's just a matter of being present and saying, hey, I really appreciate you doing the right thing here. I really appreciate you, um, making a good decision here. I saw you picking up trash. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate it. It helps us out a lot. If they make their bed, they do a good job, tell them they do a good job. And also ignore tattling. If somebody says, hey, I made my bed right, but this person over here didn't make their bed right, just acknowledge that somebody did something well and we stay away from or we help the person who may need the help that we need. Be a leader in your cabin. Have faith in your campers that they're going to perform up to the expectations, not only of you, but also of any camp expectations. And so say that, hey, I put my trust in you all. I trust that you are going to make good decisions. I trust that when we leave here in the morning, that you have everything that you need to get through the rest of the day. I trust that when we go to the pool, that people aren't going to be blowing the whistle at you. I trust that when we go to a meal, you're going to sit down and you're going to be respectful. And then when we have a cleaning responsibility, you're going to follow through on that. So putting your trust in campers and helping them, the younger the camper, sometimes the more difficult that can be. The older the camper, sometimes the more difficult it can be. It really just depends on the individual camper. But being encouraging and praising the positive things that they're doing can sometimes it can bleed over into the rest of the group. And everybody say, "Oh, he's always getting complimented about, or she's always getting complimented about being respectful. Maybe I should try that. Maybe I should be a little bit more respectful. Maybe I should say please and thank you, and people will recognize that and do recognize that." Challenges as it is important that you understand behaviors that campers may exhibit. And we may not be able to change those behaviors that we feel like are inappropriate, but we may be able to show them a way. And that's one of those things that we want to try and show them what the best way is to do things, the best way is to make decisions, the best way is to handle certain situations. So if we can show that, that can be something that can lead into a behavioral change even beyond camp. And then once again, as they feel like that they can trust you as well. This is the person that's gonna be in my cabin, that you're the counselor, that you're gonna give me good advice, you're gonna show me the right things to do, you're gonna take me to get food and meals, you're gonna take me to do all the fun activities. You have conversations with them, you have fun with them. And if they recognize all of that, then generally what will happen is that yeah, you'll build that cohesion not only between you and that individual camper, but between you and your entire cabin, you and in your entire team. So building that trust between you all and having conversations, communicating with them is really important. So managing challenges, and so transition times can be very stressful. Prepare campers for change. Your campers' names, get to know them. Give campers plenty of time to wake up in the morning. Be patient with them. Give campers one task at a time to complete. Don't give them a series of things that they have to do, but say, hey, we need to do this thing first. And then, we'll move on to the next thing. Uh, um, just just have questions that you can ask them. I always ask people really random questions like, what was your first concert? What's your favorite food? What's your least favorite food? What is you know, if you had to live your life as a rock star, who would it be? Or if you had to, if you had a walkout song, what would it be? So having those kinds of questions just to engage them in conversation, and sometimes that can, if you have homesick kids, that can kind of, de-stress that kid a little bit. But it also, you can learn a little bit about your individual campers. So having those quick mind, those games, just questions might be it. If you have games, I Spy, whatever it is, whatever it might be, but having some quick games that you can do to kind of manage some of the challenges that you have. Um, if it's a situation, and this is one of the things that we see a lot, is we see a lot of hurry up and wait at camp, or we'll be in field games, and somebody will say, "Okay, we're gonna play, 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 play. All right, now everybody be quiet." And sometimes it doesn't work like that. Everybody needs that period of time where they kind of like escalate into something and de-escalate out of something. And so give them space and time on the ends of activities so that you're not like, okay, do this thing and immediately stop. But you have a little bit of time. And if you can, after you do certain things, process those things. Like if you walk out of the cabin and you look back at the cabin and it looks really amazing, take the kids to the shade and just for like a minute, just say, "Hey, we did a good job cleaning up in there. Why do you think we did a good job cleaning up?" And have them talk to you. Give them or have them give you reasons of why it is that they were successful in this particular situation. So just that kind of huddle up, that get together and say, "Why is it we were successful here?" We did field games. Everybody did a great job. We moved from one activity to the next. Everybody was quiet when they needed to be quiet. Everybody was screaming when they needed to scream. Why is it that we were so successful in doing that? And let's figure that out, and let's try and repeat that behavior. And keeping them busy all the time, of course, is one of those ways to manage challenges. Conflicts are going to happen. Obviously, we're at summer camp. It could be 90 plus degrees. It could be, that they're not getting enough rest. They're not getting enough food. They should be getting plenty of food, but maybe they're not eating. They're not eating the right things, whatever it might be. Maybe they are a little bit homesick, whatever it might be, but mediating those conflicts, conversations, talking to them. If you do have a conflict, separating what happened from each of the individuals. Listen to what they're saying. If I need to be involved in that, please have me involved in that. I need to know about it regardless of whether I'm directly involved or not, but please make sure um, uh, if, that you involve me, having those conversations, brainstorming solutions as a counselor team, and then also brainstorming solutions so that everybody can feel like they've been heard and that they understand that conflicts are going to happen. We move on from those, and we're better because of them. So working through those each of those individual situations and if problems continue between either of those individual campers or problems continue with that one individual camper, then get me involved, more involved, and kind of give me an idea of the things that are going on, and I can handle that situation as well. So these are the multiple choice questions. As always, if you have any questions about this module, please feel free to reach out to me. So my cell phone number is 859-509-6606, or you can send me written questions at 859, or not at 859. You can text those to me as well at that same number, or you can reach out to me with questions at Eric, ERIC, dot Comley, COMLEY. Thank you.